We're following breaking news out of Springfield. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here for Western Mass News at 6. I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. Western Mass News has learned from sources with direct knowledge of the situation that MGM Springfield will reopen on Monday, July 13th. We're told the casino will be opening at a greatly reduced capacity with limited restaurants and other amenities. However, it's the first step for the resort to get back to a sense of normalcy. As we mentioned, Governor Charlie Baker approved the reopening of casinos as of Monday, July 6th. Again, MGM Springfield will reopen on Monday, July 13th. Western Mass News will provide more information as it comes into our newsroom. And Massachusetts is entering phase 3 of reopening on Monday, another move towards the new normal in the wake of the coronavirus. The move comes as other states around the country are seeing large spikes in COVID-19 cases, causing a halt of indoor dining and bar service in those regions. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo has more from Springfield.
Indoor dining began just a short time ago here in Massachusetts, but in other states with fewer restrictions on public gatherings, the virus hasn't relented. Whether or not a second spike here in Massachusetts could be prevented without pulling back things like indoor dining is a question many people are asking. As Massachusetts forges forward into more indoor venues reopening, states like Texas, California, and Florida are halting indoor dining and bars due to spikes in COVID-19. The concern in many of those hotspot regions, an observed disregard for social distancing and mask rules. Western Mass News checked in with the owner of Red Rose Pizza, who's finishing out the second week of indoor dining.
I would say the first week was a little tentative. We did a little bit of business indoor, but definitely there was an uptick in the second week.
Antonio Caputo says he requires his patrons to wear masks and that he's seen near total compliance in his customers.
95%, and the people that don't have masks, we offer free masks to all patrons without a mask. We did have one woman who didn't want to wear a mask, and she said, I've had a mask on all day. I don't want to wear it right now, but we insisted that she wore it, and she was fine.
It's almost as though people forgot the coronavirus existed.
Brittany Miller says the situation is different in Georgia, where the state is reporting a record high increase in cases. Miller works for our Atlanta sister station and says not many people are wearing face coverings.
If you go to the grocery store, if you go anywhere else, if you're walking down the street, you don't see many people wearing masks, and that's something that's very interesting that's really changed in the past few weeks or so.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker is warning people in the Bay State about having a change in mindset about COVID-19, saying the virus is still deadly. Miller notes that while the Georgia governor has encouraged mask wearing,
he has not mandated people wear masks when they go out.
There are mask mandates here in Massachusetts, and you should expect to wear one when phase 3 begins on Monday. In Springfield, Audrey Russo, Western Mass News.
The state releasing the latest unemployment claims, reporting 29,072 people filed for regular unemployment benefits from June 21st to the 25th, showing a 1.8% decrease in claims filed from the previous week, marking the third straight week of declines. Pandemic unemployment assistance, however, increased slightly this week.
So I hope people can take a minute this weekend to celebrate and enjoy the weekend. But I do ask that you all keep in mind the things you've been doing that work to stop the spread.
Bay State officials gearing up for this upcoming holiday weekend. Governor Charlie Baker urging residents to be vigilant and to stay local to reduce the spread of coronavirus across state borders.
I anticipate that families are going to be creative and they'll make the most of the opportunity to travel locally or around New England. I would just ask that you continue to be smart about how you make your backyard barbecue an enjoyable and safe event.
The governor goes on to remind everyone to wear their masks, avoid large crowds, and do everything they can to spend as much time outdoors as possible. And here's a look at today's number of COVID-19 cases. So far, the state reports 195 new COVID-19 cases. That's 66 less than yesterday, with a total number of 109,338 in the Bay State. There are 51 more deaths to report today, bringing the statewide death toll to 8,132. New at 6, Western New England University unveiling its plans for this upcoming fall semester. The university president tells Western Mass News they will be welcoming students back on campus with a number of health and safety protocols in place, including smaller class sizes, requiring masks on campus, and installing plexiglass barriers to maintain social distancing in the classroom. Testing and isolation centers will also be set up on campus to manage any potential outbreak. And for more coverage on the coronavirus pandemic as it develops, you can log on to our free streaming Western Mass News app. The chief of police in Hamden, the president of the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association, is calling for a meeting with state officials on police reform. He says proposals have been made by state legislators without talking to Massachusetts police officials. Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane joins us live in Springfield with more. Lindsay?
President of the association, Chief Farnsworth, tells me that he's deeply troubled no representatives have reached out, and they want to be a part of the process if any changes may happen. As protests have sparked all around the nation over the death of George Floyd, some protesters are calling for police reform, defunding the police, and no police in schools, making officials consider different reform methods.
There's a lot of legislation pending on a national level about police reform and the way, police are doing their job or should be doing their job. And, we have some concerns that none of our national delegation has reached out.
President of the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association, Chief Farnsworth of the Hamden Police Department, tells Western Mass News that he is calling for a meeting with state legislators to help start a conversation.
You can't really fix anything until you do have conversations. Decisions made in a vacuum with insufficient information doesn't end up being the best decisions.
He tells Western Mass News Governor Charlie Baker has been in communication about his proposed police certification system, the first ever in the state. They've also had conversations with the Black and Latino caucus to discuss their concerns.
Law enforcement is no different than anything else. It progresses and changes. Everything, in society and life changes.
As cities and towns here in Western Mass look for reform measures such as divorcing from the civil service and funding cuts, passed both in Springfield and in Northampton, Chief Farnsworth says the civil service needs to be reformed, but department cuts only hurt the public.
A lot of the cuts tend to be knee-jerk reactions to just, think that they're doing something. But when you talk about, reforming and changing, you want your officers to be trained well. When you start cutting funding, training begins to be compromised first. So it ends up being a regressive issue.
He says it's important to think locally.
And it's such a small fraction of problems. And, you look locally, where are the real problems locally? Don't react nationally, react locally. Deal with your local issues. Where are the problems? How are you going to address it? Just by cutting money really isn't going to do it. It's just kind of like a feel-good action.
I spoke with Congressman Neal today about a potential meeting, and he says it's important to meet with everyone involved. Live in Springfield, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Lindsay, thanks for that live report. A show of support for police officers in Western Mass as a Back the Blue parade is about to get underway in West Springfield. That's where we find Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis, who is live outside St. Thomas School with more. Leon?
Jordyn, just take a look over my shoulder over here. As you can see, the parade is getting underway. People came here with motorcycles. They have American flags out here, and there's a sign that says, "We support the police." Now, this parade will go through West Springfield with a stop at the police department. Then they will head to the Agawam Police Department. The group will then head over the border to Suffield, Connecticut, where a similar event is happening tonight. Folks here want to show officers they are here for them. I spoke with one parade goer who says he wants to stand up for police officers who he believes are being disrespected by protesters.
They're throwing stuff at them, they're spitting in their face, they're flipping them off. They're just being, totally disrespectful. Not right.
We plan to cover the parade that's set to start at 6:30. We'll bring you the very latest both on air and online. Live in West Springfield, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
We currently have 2 severe thunderstorms that we're tracking this evening. One is passing just off to the east of Hampden County. The warning for Hampshire County was taken down early, and the warning for Hampden County is just a little sliver, pretty much on the border. Southbridge is the area that's going to have to deal with this one through about 6:30 p.m. with 60-mile-an-hour gusts and some large hail. And then we have another one that's out across New York, just south of Albany now, moving to the south at 20 miles an hour. This goes through 6:45 p.m. and the warning box cuts into parts of central and southern Berkshire County, but I think most of it is going to miss Berkshire County as well. So we're just kind of being straddled by these storms with maybe a spot shower or rumble of thunder expected over the next hour or two. Other than that, fair conditions out there currently, but it's hot and it's humid. And we do have a return of heat, humidity, and some storms. We'll take a look at all the details in just a few minutes. Jordan?
All right, Janna, thanks. Ahead of the holiday weekend, the Mass Environmental Police announcing the start of Operation Dry Water, a nationwide campaign to address boating under the influence. Multiple local, state, and federal agencies will be monitoring both the beaches and waterways to ensure that everyone enjoys water activities in a safe and responsible manner. Mass State Police are also reminding everyone that operating any vessel under the influence of drugs or alcohol is illegal. New at 6, Massachusetts State Police are looking for a man wanted in connection to a Lowell murder. They tell Western Mass News tonight this man is considered armed and dangerous. Police say 20-year-old Xavier DeJesus has been added to the department's most wanted list. He is actively avoiding law enforcement. Police say he is of white and Hispanic ethnicity, 5 foot 7 inches tall, and is believed to be around 120 pounds. He has multiple tattoos on his right arm, including the word blessed on his outer right forearm and R.I.P. Chi-Chi on his inner right forearm. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Mass State Police.